Hello, my fellow star stuff. The herringbone grass, Pogonarthria squarrosa, has to be one of the most obvious and easily identified grasses of the savanna biome, at least when it has inflorescences on it. The genus Pogonarthria is derived from the Greek word pogon, meaning beard, and arthron, meaning joint, referring directly to the bearded, that is, covered in hairs or bristles, joints of the rachilla in the spikelets of these African grasses. The rachilla is the tiny central axis that bears the florets within a spikelet, so deep in the realm of small. Fortunately, Pogonarthria squarrosa is easily recognized with the naked eye. The short brown racemes of flowers curve upwards, making a herringbone pattern, thus the common name. It is quite a pretty grass, especially when the inflorescence is covered in flowers. Squarrosa is a Latin botanical term referring to its recurved bracts, leaves that project outwards, often at right angles. Vegetative features include an erect, loosely to densely tufted perennial grass with culms that are stiffly erect and unbranched. Blades are flat or convolute towards the tip, rough on the upper surface, and smooth underneath. The ligule is a very short fringe of hairs, and the leaf sheaths are generally hairless. Its reproductive features are the most diagnostic of the herringbone grass. Look for upward curving reddish-brown racemes arranged like a herringbone skeleton on a stiff central axis. This makes it unique among southern African grasses. Herringbone grass is found in well-drained soils, especially sandy or poor, nutrient-deficient soils. It's common in disturbed sites such as roadsides, old cultivated lands, overgrazed rangeland, and along paths. It's common up to 1,870 meters above sea level, so it gets quite high up, and it occurs in seasonally dry savanna, grassland, and woodland. Here at Raptors, it's found mainly on road verges and the margins of paths, as well as in areas that have been disturbed by heavy bush clearing. This is a pioneer to subclimax species. It rapidly colonizes bare or disturbed ground and stays around. It increases under moderate to heavy grazing pressure in dry areas. It has a low palatability due to its tough, wiry culms, so it's seldom grazed except in drought and maybe extremely into the dry season. Its seeds are eaten by small granivorous birds, and it provides habitat for insects and other invertebrates, though. If it is dominant in an area, that signals soil degradation, overgrazing, or fairly extreme physical disturbance. I just think it's a cool grass, though, and I'm happy that it is quite common around here, even if it does mean we have to work to recover the felt. Have a ligule of a day, everyone.